Hello and thank you for tuning in to Millennial Movies. Today is going to be my spoiler-filled review for Halloween 2018. But before I get into it, I did want to plug in real quick that Millennial Movies' very first official short film is dropping next week on a Friday. That is October 26th. You're not going to want to miss it. I did the screenplay, I wrote the script, and a buddy of mine co-directed it. So I think you guys are going to like it. I think you'll be really into it because it's of course a scary short horror film in the spirit of Halloween, of course. So just be aware that that's going to be coming out very soon. But let's go ahead and get into this review. So Halloween 2018 is a frustrating movie because there's so many shades of greatness throughout the film, but ultimately they're not enough to warrant this being a great film. There's small parts in this grand machine that I was hoping for, but it's just not that. There's shots in the film where the way Michael stands and the way you can barely just see his silhouette, he looks scary. He looks legit intimidating. And in the Rob Zombie films, Michael Myers was not scary. He didn't scare me. He wasn't intimidating. He didn't look menacing at all. But this Michael Myers, man, do they do a great job of just setting the atmosphere and shooting him the way he looks. He's got this presence about him that makes you kind of sit on the edge of your seat and you're like, what's he gonna do next? So that was really enjoyable to watch throughout most of the film. But again, there's just so many there's too many negatives that this is ultimately not enough for me to warrant the film to be great. There's a sweet kill where he impales this woman's neck with a large knife, and it looks killer, man. It was awesome. But other than that one kill that made me jump up and want to start clapping, yeah. Other than that, there's all the other kills. They didn't stand out to me. They were pretty basic, pretty generic. Just stabbing through the back and stabbing through the slitting someone's neck or choking them. Not very creative, not very fresh, not new. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. There's a great ending shot where Michael, he gets trapped in the basement. He's standing on the stairs, and the way he just looks up at Laurie Strode while the basement is burning behind him, he looks just so menacing. It's like you have him defeated, but the way he just stands there staring at the screen, you start to get second thoughts. Dang, is he really 100% in a dead situation here, or is he just temporarily been defeated? It's really it's beautiful to watch because it's scary beautiful, if that makes any sense. But moving on from there, I did want to say too that there's a moment, oh my goodness, there's a sweet moment where Laurie gets tossed out of the house from Michael, and then he looks down at her and she's all beaten down, and it looks like, oh my goodness, is she dead like that? Did they really just kill her? And then he hears the granddaughter walk into the house, and so he turns around for a second, and then when he looks back to see if Laurie's still on the ground, she pulls a Michael Myers on him and vanishes completely. And there's this cool little sound effect, and you're like, oh hell yeah, Michael is in a true fight for the first time in his life against one of his possible victims. So that was really cool, and I like the little twist they added in on that little moment. So another thing that I will say I liked is I liked exploring how the events of the first film have affected Laurie in her personal life and how she's become so obsessed on being ready for a possible return of Michael that she let it get in the way of her being, a mother to her daughter, and it's left her broken and having trouble sleeping at night. Yet despite all of that, she remains prepared. She's strong-willed. She's so smart. This is how you do a strong female protagonist, or really just a strong protagonist at all. So she's really the best part of the movie, up there with Michael Myers. But unfortunately, they stray away from her far too much. And almost every other time that she isn't on screen, I just could not invest in anything else that was going on in this film, aside from maybe one or two characters. But I'll go ahead and get into that in a little bit. I will say I didn't mind some of the humor in the film. It didn't ruin anything for me. And also, one of the other characters that I did like, one of the few other characters that I liked, was the police officer, because he's got a little history with Laurie, because he's the one who took Michael in the original Halloween film, after, Dr. Loomis was like, no, don't shoot Michael. So I liked his little backstory that they built him up as a real threat to Michael because he's hunting Michael down, and he nearly has him dead. For sure. He runs him over with his police car, and then he's going to blast him in the face and get it done with. But then this is where the movie lost me, man. There's just this stupid twist on the film's part of having the completely unnecessary discount Dr. Loomis character kill the officer and say, "Oh, that's what it feels like to kill somebody." And then he saves Michael because he wants to see how the confrontation between Laurie and Michael Myers will go down. His character is literally nothing more than a plot device to keep Michael alive to face Laurie, and it really shows. Unfortunately, it does. That was the moment where I said, "Yeah, this movie just isn't for me," and I'll most likely never watch it again unless 10 years from now or something, I see it on TV and I'm like, maybe I want to see that Halloween movie again. But other than that, man, that twist was completely unnecessary. I found it to be really dumb. I didn't care for it. I know that they sprinkled in hints of it looking back on it now throughout the film, but it still doesn't. It still was very dumb to me. I didn't like it. I didn't like that decision whatsoever. There's so many boring and uninteresting characters in this movie for Michael to kill, like the two podcasters in the beginning, some of the teenage friends of Laurie's granddaughter, and then there was the dad who was funny, but then he puts up no fight at all. Nobody puts up a halfway decent fight either in this film. No one except the officer and Laurie Strode. And the officer gets killed like a punk by a stupid character from the damn doctor. So that really frustrated me as I was sitting there in the theater. Another thing is, if you're going to introduce all these characters, at least have the decency to finish their stories. We never see what happened to the granddaughter's boyfriend, even though I thought that he was a little prick. We didn't see what happened to him after we spent like 2 or 3 previous scenes wasting time on him. Or the little boy who was being babysitted. He was actually kind of funny. It was nice to see him on screen. And it's like the writers just completely either forgot about them or they didn't care enough to finish their stories. But if you want to create these characters and put them into this story, then you have to follow through with it, man. You have to finish out their storylines. Even if you're just going to kill them both or if you're going to have them escape and live, show that happening. Show us that. Give us a reward for having to sit through these scenes with these characters. They serve no purpose to the plot whatsoever. So if you're going to toss them in there and give valuable screen time to them, at least finish off their stories. So that, again, frustrated me. But finally, I think I want to say that this film was mismarketed as this final showdown between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. And it is, for all about only 10 minutes at most. And even then, I don't think he's dead. The ending was a bit anticlimactic for me as well. When the credits rolled, I was like, really? That's it? The movie's done? And it is. And, maybe there's a post-credit scene. I didn't feel like even sticking around to find out. So, yeah. Overall, I want to say that Halloween 2018 was pretty underwhelming for me. It didn't hit my expectations for what I wanted the series to get back to. I wanted it to feel like the first Halloween. And to me, it didn't feel like that. Maybe to some other horror fans out there, maybe you do feel that way. Maybe you did like it. Maybe you agree with some of the stuff I said. Maybe you disagree. And either way, I hope that you enjoyed this film. But in the end, for me, it just didn't land where I was hoping it would. So it was a little bit disappointing. But hey, on the bright side, I mean, maybe the Child's Play reboot next year will do better than this one. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But anyways, guys, again, I have a short film that's coming out next Friday, October 26th. You're not going to want to miss it. And if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like, as it does help out my small channel a whole bunch. And if you like these type of movie reviews and you want to see me do more for all these horror movies that are coming out, please let me know in the comment section below, because I'd love to talk about more movies with you in the future. And as well, if you like horror movie news and this type of film content that I do on this channel, please go ahead and consider subscribing. I'd love to have you along for the ride. But until next time, guys, this has been Millennial Movies, and I will see you all very soon.